It's the single largest transaction of your life. There is no room for error. One mistake could cost you your dream home or tens of thousands of dollars or jail time. I'm just kidding, probably not jail time, but it's still serious. And that's why in this video, I'm talking about the 9 biggest mistakes I see first-time home buyers making. Check it out. What's up guys, my name's Anthony Laborde. I'm your YouTube realtor here in Atlanta, Georgia. If this is your first time to my video, thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. This is where you're gonna learn everything there is about living, working, playing in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. And then every once in a while, I'll throw in some shop talk and we'll talk about real estate, like in this video where we're talking about the mistakes that home buyers make. Let's get started. Hands down, the number one most important and often most costly mistake I see first-time home buyers making today is a failure to be pre-approved or pre-qualified prior to going and seeing homes for the first time. Guys, I know how tempting it is. You see these homes online, you get excited, you see the pictures, you see little Johnny and Susie playing in the backyard. It's got a white picket fence. Oh my gosh, it's in their elementary school district. It's perfect, we gotta go get it now. Guys, you don't know what you can afford until you're told what you can afford. You're gonna need a lender. You need somebody to loan you that money to buy this house. They're not just gonna take your word that you can afford it. You have to be pre-approved. In order to do that, they need some items from you. They need W-2s, they need proof of your employment, 2+ years, 2+ years of income. What about your assets? What about your debt to income ratio, your down payment? Guys, these are crucial items that are needed by a lender in order to be pre-approved so that you can move forward and make an offer on a house. Now, I've heard this before, but Anthony, I make $5,000 a week. I have no credit card debt. I've been at this job for 6 years, or I own the company, or look, I got a Maserati, I got this, I can afford it, I promise. Guys, I believe you, somewhat. Honestly, nobody's gonna believe you 100% unless your mama, that's gonna give you that much money up front. You're gonna have to be approved. So guess what? You're gonna find this beautiful house and you're gonna be ready to put an offer on it. If you're in the Atlanta market, my market, the time that homes are staying on the market, because our inventory is so incredibly low right now, we're less than 3 months of inventory. That means if we sell through everything that's on the market right now, we'll be out of homes in 3 months. That's crazy low. It's a seller's market. So that means you have buyers out there, just like you, in the same situation, probably have a pre-approval letter, that are ready to put an offer on that house. So now that you found it and you're in love and you have to put an offer, which no seller is going to accept without that pre-approval letter, you have to go find W-2s and 1099s and rental income and child support proof and alimony proof and my bank statements. And it's not an easy process, guys. Do it up front. Save yourself some trouble, save me some time, save my lender some time, get pre-approved so that when we find that house, the moment we find it, we can immediately put an offer, snag that house, and it's yours. The second biggest mistake I see first-time homebuyers making is a failure to research an area. Guys, often this is as heartbreaking as not being pre-approved first. The number of times, if I had $1 for every time that I'm out on showings and we get to a neighborhood and the wife is in the back seat and said, just keep on driving, I'm not living in there. Man, it happens all the time. Guys, before you go out and make a reservation for a seller to put their house out there, to stage it, to clean it, to make sure they're away from the house, they get the pets out. It's a headache for sellers to get their houses ready. Before you ever do this, know what you're walking into. Have your pre-approval, research the area, know the school districts, crime rates, drive times, condition of. If you can get out and drive through an area prior to scheduling an appointment to get inside that house, man, the amount of time and heartache you save everybody involved is tremendous. The third mistake that I see first-time homebuyers making is getting too wrapped up in the online estimates, AKA Zestimates. The fastest way for me as an agent to laugh your agent out of an office is to put an offer in on one of my listings and cite a Zestimate. Guys, come on. The CEO of Zillow sold his house for 40% less than the Zestimate. That should tell you something in itself, but I'll take you a step further. Most people don't understand how these Zestimates or online estimates are made. All they do is it's an algorithm. That algorithm looks at a certain geography and it looks at a sold price and a total square footage. It divides those two. That gives you a ratio, is a ratio of price per square foot. They take that one price per square foot, that one metric, and they apply it to every single house in that area doesn't look at the pool, landscaping, condition of the house. It looks at nothing other than square footage and the total price per square foot. Guys, that's an algorithm that is about as inaccurate as you can get. Do not get wrapped up in this estimate. Don't even use it as a guide. Some people say, well, I use it as directional. Wrong direction. You're going the wrong direction if that's what you're using it for. It's a joke. It's an algorithm. I've never been in an open house or been anywhere and had a representative from Zillow show up and say, hey, I'm here to do my appraisal on the house so that we can accurately judge our estimates. It doesn't happen because they don't exist. These guys don't do that. It's all an algorithm. Don't believe it. Don't use it as direction. Get you an agent that understands comps. This is how you do it. You take a pinpoint, whatever house you're looking at, draw a circle, a 1 mile radius around that house. Look at the properties that have sold. So they were on the market, then they closed, have sold that are comparable. Same number of rooms, same bedrooms, square footage, year made, condition, etc. You want to get as close to possible and get as close in proximity as possible, and it has closed. That's what's going to tell you the value of the home. So the fourth biggest mistake is getting hung up on price. I have seen too many homes, dream homes, families that have fallen in love with this house, that we get into negotiations and there's an offer and then a counter offer and we start squabbling over price and little things here and there, and my client or theirs gets hung up on a number. Let's say they say, $300,000 is the absolute most that I'm gonna pay, but the seller is stuck at $310 and won't budge. Guys, this is your dream house. And in the grand scheme of things, you're talking about pennies. Now, granted, I don't want anybody to be mortgage poor. I don't think anybody should live in a house or try to pay for something that they really can't afford, or they're counting pennies and they're really stretching their budget on. If you can think about it this way, for every $10,000 difference when you're financing, now granted, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but for every $10,000, your monthly mortgage payment is only gonna go up $50 to $60 a month. So when you're arguing and you're walking away from a dream house that your family is in love with, that fits most of your criteria, simply because you're hung up on that number, you just walked away because of $50 a month. Mistake number 5 I see buyers making is trying to find a unicorn. Guys, people are hunting for Bigfoot and mermaids every single day. That does not make them exist. That 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, master on the main, granite countertops, sauna, hot tub, pool, entertainment, open concept for $200,000, it does not exist. Guys, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Again, your house should meet 75% of your criteria. Actually, a tremendous amount of value in buying a home that doesn't meet 100% of your criteria. If it meets 60, 70, 75%, and then building value in that home over time, putting your own touch on there, your own upgrades. Guys, you can get so much more money for your bang, so much more bang for your money if you do it this way. Do not get caught up in looking for that unicorn, because you will be let down. Mistake number 6 is failing to use a buyer's agent to represent you. Guys, I've seen this happen so many times. A couple gets excited about buying a home. They go on Zillow, they see that there's an open house this weekend. They go to the open house, they fall in love with this place and want to make an offer. Well, the listing agent who's hosting that open house says, I know the seller. Now I know you. You don't need an agent. We can do this right now. Smooth transaction. Guys, if something goes wrong during that deal, where do you think his allegiance is? It's to the seller. His number one priority is to get the most money out of that house. My number one priority, represent the buyer, is to get the best deal on that house. He and I are going to go head to head. You don't need to be involved in that. The other thing people don't understand is that a buyer's agent works absolutely for free with the buyers. You don't pay us anything. Our commission, our paycheck comes out of the seller's proceeds when he sells that house. The listing agent splits that commission. My number one priority is to protect you during due diligence, inspection, appraisals, all the contingencies. I want to make sure your earnest money is protected. As the listing agent, that is not their priority, and you will make a huge mistake not using a buyer's agent during your transaction. Mistake number 7 is feeling rushed. Guys, this is the largest single transaction of your entire life. Do not, I repeat, do not let anyone, family member, spouse, child, agent, Don't let anyone rush you into making a decision or putting in an offer if you feel any hesitation whatsoever. Guys, if you're hesitating or if you have second guessing, gut is the second brain. There's more neurons in your gut than a cat and dog have in their brain. Think about that for a second. Your gut, when it's telling you to slow down, you better slow down because it's the wrong deal and it's inevitable that something is not going to work out. You should never ever feel rushed in any part of this process. It's my job to sit down with you at the very beginning of the process and talk you through it so you know every step of the way, what's gonna happen, the timing, what we should be looking for, what we're looking for in the market, school districts, like all of this stuff, we do it up front. Now, this is a tough one because if you're in my market, if you're in the Atlanta market where our inventory is so low right now and there's so much competition to buy a house and you're up against people who are qualified, pre-approved, have their down payment ready, know the neighborhood, know the school districts, and are ready to move forward. This is why, go back to the beginning of this video, step number one. This is why it's so important to research the area, get pre-approved, talk to a lender, have all these things done in advance. So when that time comes and you're in my market and you find the house that you love, you want to be ready because you're up against competition and they're ready. And I want you to put an offer in and we're going to have an aggressive offer and I'm going to call that other agent and we're going to negotiate and we're going to get the deal done and you're going to get your dream house, but on your time. Mistake number 8 I see first-time home buyers making is underestimating your cost and repairs on your new home. Guys, you get so excited about buying the home, and I've seen this happen so many times to new families. You get excited, you go through the process, you get to the closing table, but you know, along the way you have closing costs and earnest money and down payment and inspection and appraisal, and you got all these things that you pay for leading up to it. Many times you're going to feel depleted, and I can't stress this enough. You know, it's impossible to know what's going to happen. Rule of thumb is 1% of your selling price should go towards your annual repairs on the house. Again, you're not going to know what's coming, but this is just a budget. Hypothetically, so let's say you bought a $300,000 home. $3,000 a year you need to set aside. Now, most likely you're gonna have some of that left over, but it's a good rule of thumb and budget so that you're not caught off guard after you spend all this money getting to the house and then something goes wrong. Mistake number 8 is actually a great segue into mistake number 9, and that is failing to ask for a home warranty. Guys, this is such an easy thing to do, and it is so super valuable. If you're a buyer, you should make this a non-negotiable. Tell your agent that when you put an offer in, put in the stipulations that the seller is to provide you with a 7-star home warranty minimum of 1 year. The reason why is building up to this purchase, you have closing costs and down payment and your earnest money and all these fees and everything that you have to pay at closing. Many times it takes a big chunk out of your bank account, so you're really not prepared. Now, granted, I mentioned budgeting for those repairs. Sometimes that's not realistic and it depletes your bank account and you need some time to build that back up. So hypothetically, you're in your first year of this home and you're settling in, and one morning you wake up and your basement's flooded because your hot water heater exploded. Guys, that $500 warranty that seemed expensive at the time is now so super valuable. Instead of paying thousands of dollars for a new hot water heater, you pay a service charge, they come out and replace it free of charge. Guys, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Hopefully you learned something about the problems and mistakes I see first-time home buyers making. Hopefully it'll save you some time and money. If you have any questions at all about real estate, living here, playing here, working here in Atlanta, if you know somebody moving here, relocating, whatever it is, if they can learn something from this video, please share it with them, shoot them my contact information. I'd love to help them out, help them learn more about our city and get them moved here and find the home of their dreams. So guys, until next time, take care.